Hey there folks, thanks for joining us on another board gaming night. Tonight we're playing Euphoria from Stonemaier Games. This is Build a Better Dystopia. And with me I have D,
Yo.
Molo, Ashen,
hey.
This is his copy of the game, and myself, Jason. Right, so this is designed by Jamie Stonemaier. This is one of the first games he designed under the Stonemaier brand. And I'm going to do my best to give you guys an overview of the rules.
Listen close.
And then we're going to show you some gameplay of us playing a few rounds of the game. And then when we're done, we'll come back with our verdict at the end. Right, so to begin with, each player is given 4 dice. Right? 2 of which you start off with the game. 2 will go into a worker pool, which you can then generate later. Because this is, of course, a worker placement game. The workers are the dice, and when you roll them, as soon as you get an available worker, you roll them, and then the pips on the dice will determine how knowledgeable are. So 6 is quite a knowledgeable worker, 1 is Molo.
Don't insult that one.
Yeah, that's true. 1's a very hard worker. Alright, so...
Hard work. No, that's fair.
So on your turn, basically you have one of 2 options. You can either place a worker or retrieve a worker. To place a worker, you have worker placement spots spread around the board. So, for example, you could place a dude here on the Wastelander tunnel. If you pay a food to the bank, you can then take either a brick or a commodity card. And then you're allowed to move your worker 1 space on the tunnel. There's other places as well. For example, you could go here to the Euphorian territory, which is a generator. You can place a worker there. So, for example, if I placed my 6 there, a 6 will tell me I'm in that bracket over there, so I gain 1 energy and I lose a knowledge on one of my workers. Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, it's
But-
overall knowledge, isn't it, rather than the individual work.
Exactly. Yeah, but if someone else goes there, so let's say Ash went there, because this can hold as many workers as people want to go there, whereas the other spaces like this is a 1 spot. You bump people out. That's what the arrow means. I'll come back to that in a second. I just want to finish off with this. So this is now a cumulative pool of 10. So now the person who goes there gets 2 energy and will also increase their knowledge by 1, which is the knowledge track up there. Knowledge is interesting because knowledge is not only the strength of the worker, which obviously increases the amount of resources you can get, but when you get workers back, you have to roll them. So I've got to remember this is a 6. I've just rolled a 6 again. So when you take your workers back, you then add up all the workers in your pool with that number and then add it to your knowledge strength. We all start on 3. So for example, I've got 9 there now, plus the 1 that's already in my pool puts me up to 10. And if it's less than 16, I'm good. My workers don't know anything better. But if they're over 16, one of them becomes some sort of rebellious leader and wants to rebel against this terrible society that we've created for them, and will bugger off.
That certainly sounds like somebody over 16.
So, and of course there's other resources in the game. You've got gold over here, you've got water down here, you've got food, brick, and drugs. But this is not the only thing that's going on. The whole object of the game is you got 10 of these influence stars. And the first person to ditch the influence stars by various ways. So for example, we all start with a private goal. So if I can achieve to find that commodity from a distant previous society, or just 2 random ones, I can then do this, which allows me to place a star on this card. The first,
Those are artifact cards that he's talking about.
Yeah,
and that
not-
is a...
not commodities, I keep calling them commodities, but there's a deck over there which basically has a load of old artifacts like board games, teddy bears, balloons, etc.
And viticulture.
In viticulture. And when we find those, they become like treasures because we don't have that in our modern society. So you're basically trying to find those and place stars on various other spots. So for example, when you build these markets, they will shift over and they will have a space where you can then go pay your dice, pay whatever the resources will say on here, and then you can enter them into the territories to take control of territories. That's where you can place stars, and there's various other places. So the first person to enter to get rid of all 10 of their stars will end the game and most likely win. I don't know what else to say from in terms of a rules perspective. It's literally when we do the gameplay turn, you'll see how it works then. When you go into spaces like this, So, for example, if Ash was over there and I wanted to go there, it doesn't stop me. Of course, in this situation, I have to send my dude across there, right? It's just someone has to go there.
Yeah.
Put it back, Wednesday here, for example.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one is available at all points in all of the game. If somebody wants to go in this spot, they
Like
can
me.
go, yep, I'm going to go there. This guy gets bumped out because Ashen's one. Ashen then immediately rolls that as a new available worker that he can place in this turn, does the knowledge check when he's done his roll, but then Jason gets to use this ability.
Yeah, which is pay a food and get one of those two. There's some bonuses you can do as well, like down at the bottom here with your... there's 4 factions in the game. I'm kind of backing the Wastelander faction at the moment, so I think it's this one over here. If I can do certain actions that benefit the Wastelander, so let's have a look quickly if we can find one. Over there.
Cornish.
Yes, if I put a worker there and it's a 1 to 4, I get a food and I move my Wastelander track up 1.
The Wasteland.
Oh yeah, so
we keep on saying about like moving our workers and moving like it's a communal city. We're building.
These miners are just
generic miners, yeah.
they don't know what
And
to
and
do.
this is the generic Wastelander track. So I've just moved it up now.
That's a loyalty track as to in the whole entire euphoric dystopia that we're building. This is like the loyalty each of the 4 factions.
allegiance.
But
To,
yeah, like the allegiance that they hold within the city, I suppose maybe.
And I think that's pretty much covers the basics of the rules. It's worker placement. You either place a worker or retrieve a worker. And then once someone's built their 10 stars, that'll end the game and they've won. The gameplay turn will obviously bring in more clarity to what the actions do and what our generic goals and stuff are. So let's get to that then. Alrighty, so this is the gameplay turn. We've had a few rotations, we've placed a few stars, and a few things have happened, so we'll give you a quick recap and then get on with the playing. So this is how these levels look. This is the card hand size for your artifacts. This is obviously intelligence levels. That's bit me in the arse already once this game. These are the dice that are still left in the pool to be used as workers. You can notice that I've got 2. As my last turn, I just reclaimed my second worker back, as I lost one of my workers and have been struggling a little bit. But these 2 markets have been built, both by these 3 guys. That means this one has a negative effect for me, which means I cannot use the 1st and 2nd tier abilities of the allegiance track. And this one is I may not place more than 1 worker per turn. Now, what that means is when you roll doubles, a double is like a double action. So you can go, or even if you roll triples for that matter, you can place, like, for example, Ashton's got 2 2s here. He could have placed both those in the same turn. And then this market has been built here by us, which means me and D built this one, which means you can't bump workers from your own actions. Obviously, me and D can still do that.
We can mitigate that if we were to go, say, for example,
yeah.
this location here, pay either 3 artifacts or 2 of the same, so a pair of artifacts, and then we can use that action to place our star there, which will basically mean we mitigate that.
Yeah.
Which is what Jason's working towards over there, I think.
Yeah, I was trying to get the 3, but my hand size kept going down, so I couldn't keep the friggin' artifacts in hand, because you need resources to keep your morale level up. Anyway, so that is what the state of the game is at the moment. It's Ashen's turn now, and we've given him plenty of time to think about what he's going to do. So
Well, I knew what I was going to do even before we started filming, because I suggested that my action was going to be as follows. I'm going to contribute to building this particular market here. So I'm going to place my worker there and pay 1 clay. And
So
that.
these things are quite significant because, I mean, you can retrieve them on your turn, but if you don't, they're stuck there until someone completes the market. And because we're playing a 4-player game, you need 3 of the resources to finish the market. So me and Ashton were discussing beforehand that he said if he goes there, would I finish it off? And I said yes.
Fuck him over.
So I'm going to go down here. No, I'm clearly going to go there because A, it completes the market, which gives me a star on the market as well as Molo and Ash. So I have to pay my clay. We retrieve our dice immediately because they'll push
These
that off.
Get pushed across like that.
And then one at a time, because it's my turn, I'll go first. I rolled. I've got 6 plus my knowledge level of 1, so I'm a 7, which is less than 16. That's good.
I rolled a 3.
So that's good. Molo's
I rolled
got
1.
So Molo's got 1, but it's interesting. He's got a 5 on his board already, so that puts him to 6, and his intelligence of 3 is 9. So if he had rolled really badly there, he could have lost one of his workers.
Now we flip over and find out what we've actually been building. We've been building the Apothecary of Productive Dreams.
You may not place workers
In
in the
Icarus. We have just kicked D right in his tactical nut, because he's basically been going to Icarus, getting himself lots of bliss to try to get his thing going. So
Actually, it's not that bad of a
True, you got
because
5.
I've got 5 bliss. I can just do that.
That allows you to put shit there.
yeah, you need to do that one there.
Yeah, so you need to ditch 3 artifacts or 2 of the same. Well, you've got a couple of artifacts already.
1.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
So that's me. That was my action, so now it goes to D.
Sorry, that has slightly changed my turn because my main character gets a benefit for going to the cloud mine, but because of this building, I now can't actually place any workers in here, so I can't use my main ability benefit. Right, so I need to realistically try and gather 3 cards, then, don't I? So I will. What do I need to gain? Right, so I've got a food, so I think I am going to use this one. So I've got a pair of 3, so I'll probably use this so people know how it works. So because I've got a pair, I can place all of my 3s before it moves to Molo's turn. So I'm going to use this 3.
And that's also because he has a place
Yeah,
in
because I'm allowed to. So I'm going to go here. So it's going to cost me a food. So that's going to bump Ashen's dice out. So Ashen then rolls that.
Sweet. No need to turn.
So he counts again. He's got 8 plus he's...
There's 2.
There's
so
10.
So I'm going to gain a commodity card.
I missed. Did you pay the food?
I did pay the food. That's the first thing I've done.
Alright, so
That
this
then
dude...
ticks that up.
Okay, that gets revealed.
And we have now a new worker display. But this spot, because it's orange, can only be used by people with a wasteland allegiance, which is...
Funny enough, it's only Jason.
yeah. So I can go there and gain 3 electricity.
Right, so then I've got my other 3
Does that
space
make this
guy.
tunnel, this action null and void now?
No. It's
Still go there.
Yeah, you still go there. You
It
can still
won't move,
tunnel.
You can still get those abilities.
Because
can't
it's
you?
a way of getting clay and stuff.
I will then... Oh man, which way do I want to go? I think I'll do this way and go here. So this one in the Aquafire. So I put the 3 there, so there's a total of 4. So I'm in this slot. So I gain 1 water, and we move up there, loyalty.
So I'll move the loyalty up.
I think it was already in that middle space, wasn't it?
I just moved it there.
Yeah, I thought it was already in the middle space.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, it was there.
And hopefully you guys will be able to correct us if, Dee's just cheated.
Yeah, I don't know. We can move it back if I thought it was there. If you guys want to move back, then we can
No,
move
that's
back.
fine,
It's
it's
cool.
I was
not a
not
big
paying
deal.
attention. I'm checking to see whether these retroactively apply. I don't think they do.
Let's hope I'm not horrendously cheating then. That's my turn.
Right, I'm going to take this 3 and I'll pop it on the dirt cost for construction. But instead of paying that brick, I'm going to pay gold using my fella's ability, which will then also increase my heart by 1, which will swell and tick this up by 1 as well. There we go. Okay.
Hey. Well, my turn's going to be quite simple. I'm just going to go there, pay a water, I'm trying to remember where they go, and take myself a stone.
And move your miner.
And move my miner.
Come on, what is it with you guys?
That's your job. Okay.
Right, well, now that the wasteland tunnel is being excavated, I'm going to use said tunnel to gain 3 energy. And I need that very desperately. Oh, actually. Yeah, never mind. Yeah, I got that.
You can still do yours. Remember, you built that build. You can still bump your own.
Oh, yeah. But I've got no more dice left, so I'm going to have to retrieve.
5. Oh, interesting. Do I go that way? I think I do. I think I'm going to go here. Ash. Bumped off.
So, what do you want? 8, 10 again.
Hello.
Okay, I'm going to go here, and I'm going to pay an energy And I'm going to gain a gold block.
And a artifact, because in fact that token should be stuck there, so we know that happens. And that token should be stuck.
So the reason why Mole gets both, it says or, but based on the loyalty track, when something's in the middle area, the benefit is if one of your recruits is of that faction, you then get to choose both of those.
But not for me, because I haven't built a thing in that market.
Soon.
No, it's not going to be soon. Was that your turn? No, that was Mother's turn. Was it?
Oh, okay.
Right, so that's Ashen.
Okay, I think I am not going to risk losing out on that market and go to that market over there, please, with my 3 and pay my stone.
All right, and then my turn is I've got no workers left, so I can't place any workers, so I can retrieve. I can retrieve all or just a few. I'm definitely retrieving this guy, and I could leave this guy here. So if someone else wants to build a worker, but there's not many workers left. It's basically D and Mola left, so I'm going to retrieve it.
And also, none of us have 3 energy to pay the cost.
So then I rolled to check my stupidity level. I've rolled a 5 and a 2, so it puts me to 7. I'm on 1, so it puts me on 8, so I'm fine. And then it goes to D.
Yeah, I will do a little retrieve as well. I think I'm going to take all 3.
Ooh.
But he's only on 1, so...
That's 1, so it's 9, 10, 11, 12. Easy. Not it?
He could have.
One of the reasons why I lost the dice earlier, I only had 2 dice, but my stupidity level or knowledge level had moved up quite a bit using my archaeologist's ability, and then I rolled double 6 on my turn, so that meant I lost a worker, and because I could not use any double abilities, it took me a really long time to get resources back again, so I could go get that second worker back.
Okay, I'm going to finish construction down there using the gold trick again.
Oh man, that gold trick's starting to be really good.
Right, so you get your...
Okay, if anybody has any Euphorians, they flip over.
Anywho.
Euphorians.
So you guys put your stars here. You lose extra health when you retrieve for free. So when you do the retrieve action, you have to lose...
That one.
Lose 2.
2 hearts.
Or only gain 1 heart, perhaps?
No. It
If you do
clearly
that one,
says for free.
Yeah.
Which dice?
That one.
That one, okay.
So that's 4.
Not that it mattered because they were both 5s.
That's true.
Okay. Ashen.
Okay. Time to start working on actually winning this game.
So obviously the way to win is to get all your stars out. Currently, at the moment, I've got 1, 2, 3 stars down. D's got 1, 2, 3 stars down. Molo's got 1, 2, 3, 4 stars down, and Ashen has 3, 4. And Ashen's now thinking.
Yeah. Sadly, it does happen sometimes, and I do have to think.
Like in our street.
No.
How are we running this household?
And I will take one of these. Cool.
Alright, so I need to get some water. So I'm going to go...
Why don't you go here?
He can, because he's got a Euphorian.
Oh, damn it. Well, that wasn't meant sarcastically then. I was simply inviting you to go there.
Yeah, that is a really good point.
Why did you point it out?
Yeah. So, thank you very much, Molo.
So yeah,
Anytime.
that's basically Molo was trying to be an arse by going, look, that's a really good position if only you had a Euphorian.
Yeah.
And
Which-
turns out he did.
I get, so I get 3,
Everybody does.
3
This
water.
is not good sarcasm.
It's because of that worker there. Alright, D.
I will.
Thank you very much, Molo. I was just about to gain 1 water there.
Anytime, buddy. That's how you do it.
Right. I think I'm gonna doing these guys. Spending my stone.
So that market is on its way. Who else has got stone and stuff?
Stone.
Stonemaier.
Well, Molo's going.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
Are you just referring to us in general? Or?
No, I can't bump my own workers. It's going to delay me for a turn. So I'm going to have to go there. Pay 3 cards. These 3. And that will put me a star on there.
Yes,
And
we
also move the Wastelander up 1.
will. Yep. So that goes there.
That's still pretty decent. You just that's your 5th star, so you're halfway to victory.
Yes, he is. To do something about
Okay.
that.
And that's Ashen. Let's see what Ash does
Just
quickly.
go there. Spend a stone. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, mine's going to be really simple. I'm going to bump Ash out here.
Yay.
See, I spin a water, and then I'll take a stone. Now, interesting, just for interest sake, my archaeologist, if I didn't bump him there, I could have got an extra card or an extra space. But unfortunately, I had to bump him out, so just move that up by 1. And that is quite a few rotations there. I think you guys get the general idea of what's happening here. We're going to finish off this game and see who wins. It won't be me.
It might be.
And then we'll come back to you with our verdict and end of game. Alrighty, so the game has ended. We've tallied up the scores. Actually, what am I talking about? You don't need to tally up scores. Someone places their last score, they won. And that person was Molo.
Be thankful, citizens, we have built a better tomorrow.
I have to eat my dust now, Molo, as I gave you shit in the beginning.
We're the greatest people.
So, give you a quick shot of the board. Molo placed his last star down here. So he's built stars in all of the markets. He's got a couple on his followers, and then one of his personal goal as well. And a territory one over there.
In the clouds.
Both D and Ash have got 1 star left, and I've got 2 stars left. So after the dreadful start I had, I managed to fight my way back a little bit. I finally got that bastard thing done. So that is the end of Euphoria. It took us, maybe a couple of hours to play?
Yeah, about that.
And that's with filming and rules explanation and so on. So let's have a chat with the boys and see what they thought.
Because, we probably haven't played this since it came out in 2013.
That's true,
First game.
And
Like 4 years ago.
This copy of the that Ash has was a Kickstarter one, which came with this sleeve as well, which is pretty battered up now as Ash uses it for football.
See, on the back there, it's got some little painted on coffee rings. You could have just made those.
So this is a Kickstarter version he had as well. So these components that we've been using, I don't think this comes with the game, does it?
No.
It comes with cardboard chits and stuff. But actually, let's have a quick look. Oh, you can't really see that, but those are the stuff. Anyway, so obviously with the Stonemaier, you always have the options of getting better components, and the components are fantastic. So with that all that knowledge, let's see what the boys think. Molo, as the winner. And I think this was the first game you played of this as well, isn't it?
First game I played of this, yeah. I think this is, I would say, and I don't want to say this because I really enjoyed the game. This is my 2nd favourite Stonemaier game, I would say.
Oh, interesting.
your
What's it?
first?
Is it viticulture?
Viticulture, yeah.
So what did you like about it?
I just loved the way things started to sort of progress. It wasn't the sort of rapid pace that Scythe does, where all of a sudden people are just dropping stars all over the place, but there was an engine burning and things started to move as you built more places, and people could get left behind with them as well. That was a nice touch, and then we were scrambling to retake those stars just to stop us from being it's very nice, good solid worker placement. It looked very daunting to start with, but it flows very nicely.
How much would you give it out of 10?
I would say, I think an 8. I'm pretty sure I gave Viticulture an 8 as well, maybe 8.5. But this is definitely an 8. I think.
Yeah. How about you, Dembski?
Yeah, I really like the game. I think it's got one thing I like about games in general is if you've got multiple different choices that you can do on your turn, so you're not limited to only 4 or 5 different things. There was, I can't remember how many we counted now, but it's probably like 13 different worker places spots for us to choose from, and a few of them are unlimited capacity as well. So really good. I don't really remember much from the first game that we played. I remember seeing the board and the tokens, but I don't remember anything about it because it's that long ago. This particular game that I played, I feel like I was very fortunate because I felt that the way that I started with the recruit that I had made it a really good, quick, easy start for me, and then things started to build from there. I suffered a small stumbling block on the live turn that you saw where I was abusing up here in Icarite. And then I was told that no, you can't use any of those anymore. So that was a real
I don't know what
kick
that
in the
feels
balls.
like.
You coasted through. Yeah, I think components wise, obviously upgraded components wise, looks really good. I thought the board, it's interesting because on the other side, obviously we won't show you now because all the stuff's on top. On the other side, it's exactly the same, but rather than having all the colours of the buildings, it's all grey. I don't know, maybe if there's people who suffer from colour blindness, that would help in some way. I don't know, but I can't see any reason why we would ever play it on the plain grey.
No, it's quite readable as it is.
Yeah, it's far more appealing this way for myself. Yeah, so I really enjoyed the game. I think rating wise, I think I would say 7.5. I think it's a good solid placement game.
For myself, actually, interesting. What did you guys think of the theme of the game?
It's a great theme.
Yeah, I thought you might like the theme.
And I love the sort of the sort of what would that be termed, like almost sort of like 40s and 50s futurism style to it.
I thought it was all right. I'm not overly enamoured by it.
It's not Great Western Trail, don't care.
In terms of like feeling as if I was actually building a new dystopia. I don't know if I really felt I was doing that. I felt I was just doing actions to gain resources, which then turned into me putting victory points down.
Yeah,
which is what it was. But I didn't feel like there was a. Well, for me, there was a theme which I was like, oh yeah, I really am pumping the water over there to then go and fill this sort of area. I'm really excavating the tunnel to go and find. I didn't feel that was there. Didn't take away from the game. I still enjoyed the game, but yeah, for me, the theme didn't run through it.
Well, this is why I like doing the videos like this with all your guys' opinions, because like in this one situation now, Molo really likes the theme, and I knew you would, because it's got that comically 50s dystopia thing going on. Whereas obviously with you, it's it's not really up your street, and it didn't. The theme itself, for a generic theme, doesn't pop out at you immediately.
Yeah, it's fine. It does what it does, but it's not. I didn't feel like I was building a better dystopia.
You know,
That's because you didn't. Molo did.
I did the second best. I suppose that's up for debate.
You know, the only really worker placement game I played that really feels like you're going through the actions of that was the what's it called, the bees.
Waggle Dots.
Waggle Dots. That has that where you're going to the flowers, and that narrates itself. It's not very common for a worker placement game to do that.
Champions of Midgard played that yesterday.
not played
Definitely.
Well, it's quite interesting. You guys mentioned something earlier when we were playing something similar to what this made me think about that with the theme now, because I quite like the theme, the 50s dystopia, and I thought it's got nice little comical elements to it as well. Like the hamster wheels that people generating electricity with and stuff. So that's pretty cool. I don't mind the theme. I actually quite like the theme. But I'm trying to think of what the game was that you guys mentioned, because it's kind of like semi-co-op in that we're building a city. Terraforming Mars. That was it. Where we're kind of doing the same thing to all obtain a better future, but one of us is going to come out on top as the better dystopia. For me, the components, as the upgraded components are like this, I really like them a lot. I mean, these components are fantastic. And I know they don't come with the game especially, but I know you can get these through Stonemaier.
Because you can get those little packs of...
the treasure chests and stuff. And who knows if the actual new version of the game, when I say new, because we haven't seen this in a while, I think it's quite an underrated game. I really like it, and... What's interesting, because I got really shafted in this game a lot. I mean, I went down to one worker, and I couldn't get any of the bonuses from the Legion's track for most of the game.
You basically spent 8 turns?
Yeah.
8 turns of literally, I place him here to get some energy, I then retrieve him. I place him here, get some energy, then retrieve him. Did that three three lots of time, so that's 6 turns, and then finally went, I can finally use the 3 energy
To get a worker,
to then go and
yeah.
gain a worker. So that's seven turns basically recuperating because it was a random dice roll where you rolled a double 6 with your knowledge, then made you lose one of your dice.
Yeah. And combined with the fact that I don't get the bonuses from the secondary abilities as well.
So it wasn't like you're going there and then getting 2 because you had one of the
So it was
benefits from the Euphoric tunnels.
even on top of that. I mean, this game can be an evil mistress to someone like in that situation. And I know before when we played this, there was a talk about the doubles can be quite powerful, but I don't find the doubles being that powerful. I think it's.
I feel, sorry to cut you off, but I feel like in that situation where that happened to you, the only reason why that was so bad is because your knowledge was up on 6.
Yeah, but I mean, what I mean with the doubles is when you get a double and you can take 2 actions at the same time.
Yeah. I was just saying, just thinking while you're talking, is that's why that turn backfired so much. While for the entire game, I started on 3, I went down to 2, went down to 1, and I stayed on 1 for the entire game, and I never lost a dice for the entire game.
Now, interestingly, when you had the second opportunity to get another worker and have 3 floating around when you were back down to Dunsville at the time, you did choose to take the star instead. You spent the 4 water instead of spending 3 water there to...
I think it's because Jason was trying to get as many victory points because he
Yeah.
knew it was coming to
I
the
know.
end of the game soon, and playing for position, just wanted to get as many stars as possible to...
Exactly.
Certainly,
Yeah.
but I mean, it could work either way. Having more workers on the board might make you more efficient at the same time.
Yeah.
I only got a double right when it counted right at the end, when I would have been able to win on a turn. But yes, I don't think doubles. You're not going to roll them that often over a period of games. Yes, one game is going to be a statistical anomaly, and it's possible to happen. But yeah, I don't think doubles are that powerful.
And
No, I
doubles
don't-
still just mean you use your workers faster if you take
Yeah.
advantage of it. So you know.
Yeah, I think it's a very generic sort of action, but I think one of the things I like about this game is the way that when you place it, like you either place your workers down and then you retrieve them, but the way that people can bump them off is actually a really thinky thing to do because. Like for example, there was a point during the game where someone bumped off one of Ash's workers when he had 3 workers.
Yeah.
And that basically cost Ash a worker because no matter he had to basically roll 50-50 chance on the dice, and he was guaranteed to lose a worker. And that was a really clear, interesting tactic to use. The other things as well, when you can bump your own workers to get so you don't have to use a retrieve action, which makes you lose morale. That is a really interesting choice as well. This game's got a lot of choices. That's why I think it's very underrated. I mean, the dudes that you pick up in the beginning, you get 4 of these and you have to choose 2. And that is a really big decision to make right at the beginning of the game because that can dictate what you're going to do during your turn. I chose the archaeologist first because I wanted to use the Wastelander stuffy on the food and then build down to the tunnel to get the electricity and stuff. And I was going down that route until a little bit of bad luck went my way, and that's derailed my whole plan. But I still, even despite that opportunity, that situation that it happens in a game, in our gaming groups, we play, always competitively all the way through to the end. So we don't stop, halfway and go, well, I'm fucked now, I'm just going to leave. We just keep going. And I still enjoy the game, even despite that. So I think there's a lot of choices here. I think there's a lot of tactical decisions. I think you get a lot of reward for your options. When you place workers down, you get tokens and you get extra abilities. You'll use your abilities of your followers. So it's a really good game. I think it's very underrated, and I definitely would suggest if you like worker placement games and don't mind a little bit of luck, then I should definitely suggest you should check this out. For my rating, I'd probably give it 8 out of 10. I think it's really good. Right, Mr. Andesh.
Okay, well, I don't know what. There's not much else to add that everybody hasn't said. I do agree with Jason. I think a lot of people have kind of fallen head over heels with viticulture and maybe possibly scythe now, and that's why Euphoria, 4 years old now, so like the cult of the new does kind of overwhelm it. So there's a lot of people who go, "Oh, Euphoria," never sort of like, so they forget about it. But I do like it. It's an unusual dice worker placement in that the worker placement spots aren't kind of restricted till everybody retrieves all their stuff, and the dice values don't restrict you from going to certain locations, like something like Kingsburg. It's Kingsburg, isn't it? Where
The dice placement.
yeah, the dice place. Yeah, or Kingsport Festival, where basically the dice you roll to like matter and restrict where you go, so you get totally screwed if you rolled all ones. It's not going to affect you. I think the different ways of trying to get your stars on the board is definitely a good thing, because I know there's previous times, if you have a look at the boards, we've got very little like territory control, whereas I'm positive.
I'm sure, because the first game we played, it was me, Ashen, Jason, and Martin.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we filled some of
Yeah,
them.
these
I'm
were
sure
like
we used it a lot.
feel quite a lot in comparison. So I think this time we've gone. I think what helped was Molo's.
My worker guy.
Yeah, the engineer basically kind of push us towards building the markets rather than like building 1 or 2 markets and just burning everything onto
I
territory
can't remember
control.
in the last game we played whether we did much in the building, but I think we went heavy on them really quickly. In just a case of build the buildings, and I think it really geared us, because the first one that happened, Jason didn't get, and we saw how big of a negative that was. Then for me personally, I was like, I do not want to be on the receiving end of these negatives.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, if I've got resources, go and put some buildings down. So I thought that was interesting how that geared towards how the game played.
Certainly, and focusing as I was focusing so heavily on building the markets, it was to my detriment that other people tried to build them as well. So it was a way of blocking what I was doing, which.
Well, yeah, we kind of bandwagoned on you because we were like quite happy to chuck 1 resource in there. It's like, well, it's only cost me 1 guy and 1 resource, and I know one of the others is going to jump on there, so my guy's not going to be stuck there for a very long time. I'm wondering whether we played a 5-player game last time.
I don't think we did.
But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Theme-wise, I'll admit you're not massively, immersed in there, but there are bits of it. Sort of thing you can kind of see with the work activation tank. You've got like the 2 different ways of you can be really nice and here, have a glass of water, wake up, sort of thing, get some work done, so you gain some morale, or you can whip them and force them to do work for you, and
I think it's tase them.
and you guys are like, what's going on, sort of thing. And especially the really cool guys here. One thing I think surprised all of us was the fact that there's a copy of Viticulture as one of the artifacts here, and considering this came out before Viticulture.
Funny enough, I saw a post from Jamie Stegmaier on Twitter recently saying that in all his games he puts a little Easter egg of the
Coming or something.
no, the St. Louis Arch, because he lives in St. Louis. I don't think I'm saying that right. The St. Louis, whatever, St. Louis Arch.
No, I think you were right, dude.
Yeah, I think it's in Louis.
So somewhere in this game, there's going to be a St. Louis Arch, either on a card or I think we need to find that.
I think to start with, we should find out what it looks like. Because I got a fucking clue.
Yeah.
It's a big semicircle. But anyway, what you were saying, actually.
No, as I said, I like this game. It's I was saying, I at one point did own every single Stonemaier game that came out.
And then sold them all to D.
Well, I sold between Two Cities to D simply because we normally play as a 4-player, and D's now got another group where he was playing 6 people, and Between Two Cities works better more than 4, as far as I'm concerned. On a full play,
4 and more.
Maybe 5 sort of thing.
I think it works well at 4. We played a game
yeah,
recently, didn't we?
But yeah, I think it works better in a big group, so that was one reason. The other reason that I got rid of Viticulture was probably space.
Propping up your bed.
No, seriously, it was. It's like, because I had...
it's got the crate with...
I had the crate one with Tuscany.
Expansion as well. So it's obviously most people in the gaming community now know what a Kallax shelving unit is. And basically it pretty much takes up one whole entire slot to fit that one box in mine. So.
But that is, I think, the best edition of the game as well, because it comes with everything.
It looks awesome. It has everything in there. Although it's heavy enough, I think I could kill someone with it.
Yeah. I won't deny that, getting rid of it did, hurt a little, but at the end of the day, space requirements and
gave you a good chunk of cash as well.
It did.
So enough about your space in your house. How much would you give this game out of 10?
Definitely, I'd say easily 7.5, probably all the way up to an 8. I think there's no denying that.
So what was that? 3 8s and a 7.5.
Yeah.
You gave 7.5, did you? Yeah, that's a pretty good score. I think it's a really good game, and I think it's really underrated. So people should really go check it out. It does really feel like out of all the Stonemaier games, it's the ugly stepbrother.
I think it's the ugly stepbrother. I actually think it's just the brother which people have just forgotten about.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Because I mean, Scythe gets so much.
Yeah, like Scythe.
Has got the
is
fancy
obviously-
miniatures.
Is the new miniature one. It's the most like recent one. Then you've got the Between Two Cities is the very unique style, and there's not really a game like it.
And then between
and then
Viticulture.
Viticulture, once again, it was just a really, I think it was a really well planned out game.
Yeah, and it's the one that put them on the map, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
It's got an expansion, whereas I know
It's got without the expansion on that one, it changed it totally.
Yeah,
Like, just
it's
going back
okay.
to- going back to the
All
original
three of
one.
those games have got expansions, but this one doesn't.
Yeah, as I was going to say, I read apparently there was an expansion in the works, but it's kind of on the back burner because of other
Because
projects.
they decided to go, let's make this other game, and it happened to be more popular than this one was. So.
And of course, Charterstone's coming out this year, and that's
Yeah.
going to be massive.
Yeah, which is something I'm definitely looking forward to, and I'm quite happy.
Certainly, yeah.
So yeah, to go back to the original part, I think this is not by any means
A lesser game?
a bad version of their game. It's just that unfortunate. I think it's been
It's the
the fact
first
that
one.
it was their first game. Cool, this is a great success. Well done. And then they made other games, and then they had even more success off of those. And sort of a case of rather than going, let's revisit the older game. It's just a case of let's see if we can now outdo that last one. And it's it's like the test of time sort of thing as they've just made new games and added new things in that maybe this one was forgotten a little bit. I don't know. So.
Plus, I do think the cult of the new is a big issue with gamers,
I can attest to that.
Well,
considering most gamers on Facebook are normally posting, oh my god, I bought another 3 games and I've got like 50 games I've not played, and I know we're all guilty of that here.
Oh,
so...
that definitely pops up in this already.
Yeah.
All right, well, I think that's a good chat about Euphoria. I hope you guys enjoyed the gameplay and got to see what the game is like. And if you liked it, please go definitely pick up a copy, because I would love to see an expansion for this. So, thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye-bye.